Hi, welcome. I am Eric Arnold. This is the Politics Barn, Monday, March 11th, 2024, in the afternoon. We're going to talk today about the murder of Trooper Christopher Gadd of the Washington State Patrol, happening in the wee hours of the morning on March 2nd. Saturday morning. That's about 8-9 days ago. Murdered by an illegal. We're going to get to that. I guess in the meantime, we had State of a Union address by Joe Biden, where he, I would say, declared war on us, but he's already declared war. He's just letting us know that he hasn't decided to sue for peace or try to unite the country in any way. If you're of my age, which is upper middle age, you know that you've had, probably at this juncture, you've had to deal with an elderly relative that's faded into the sunset. And often what happens is, as that person, it's usually not like you see in the movies where the person is lucid right up to the end, and then they tell them on their deathbed some secret like they've always loved them even though you didn't think I did, or something like that. No, that's not reality. What happens is the elderly person generally just becomes more and more irrational and mean. Generally, as someone loses their marbles, the good parts of that person just generally disappear. And you're just left with things that you almost don't recognize, especially if the person was a good person. You're like, damn, this just doesn't seem like this person at all anymore. Well, think about it, that they're probably mad all the time just because things that used to work for 60, 70, 80 years no longer work. Just the most basic functions don't work, and it's embarrassing because you can't do simple things like hold your urine or shit in, and you're almost now reverting to baby-like state, and the indignity of having to have other people help you, it probably just very infuriating. So, I guess you can think about that. It's rational that these are people that are probably just not very happy people. And that's what we're left with Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden never had any good in him. What you're doing now is whatever was, it's basically two parts of Joe Biden, bad and worse. Well, bad's gone and we're left with worse. And that's what we're getting. That's the speech you saw. Can you only imagine if Donald Trump had given that speech? The lefts would be breaking out whatever guns they have and organizing their militias right now to try to assassinate Donald Trump, because he would be considered Hitler. They already consider him Hitler, and he hasn't even begun to give a speech like that yet. But Joe Biden, he's free to rant and rave and spew his hateful invective with impunity, and we all just have to sit there and take it, which is fine. It's nothing new. It is what it is. I just wish some of my moderate friends could see that and go, man, why am I signing up for this? How is this guy so much better than Donald Trump? Hint, hint, he's not. He's actually worse. But they have to figure that one out for themselves. You can lead a horse to water, but the horse has to drink on its own. You can't make it drink. All right, topic for today. Trooper, there's a dead mouse. Dead mouse. My exterminator is doing their job. I actually hire somebody to try to keep the barn rodent-free, so doing his job. It's not the cat either, believe me. Trooper Chris Christopher Gadd. And he was with the Washington State Patrol March 2nd, about 3 in the morning. All right, so Trooper Gadd is on Interstate 5, somewhere north of Seattle, and he's on the shoulder of Interstate 5, facing southbound. So let's see, try to draw you a little map here. All right, so let's see, travel lane, passing lane, breakdown lane. So here is Gadd in his police car on the shoulder, southbound on I-5, somewhere north of Seattle. Now, I'm going by memory now. Oh, don't choke. Don't choke. Raul Benetiz Santana. And he's 27. I believe I saw this guy's 32. He comes along and is witnessed by a tractor trailer who apparently is here in the travel lane. And a lot of tractor trailers have dash cams now, so the tractor trailer had a dash cam facing forward, so he's recording all this for future evidence. Along comes Benetiz, passing him at a high rate of speed. Now, we believe that the high rate of speed was in excess of 100 miles an hour. I'll get to that in a moment. The truck's moving at 70 miles an hour, and Benetiz passes him like he's standing still. Then, according to the dash cam, he passes into the travel lane. Then he gets into the breakdown lane. And this is not to scale. There's probably, a lot more space here. So he travels in the breakdown lane for quite some time, going 100 miles an hour, pulling away from the truck. Why? Well, he thinks he's in the travel lane. He's so smashed, he doesn't know what lane he's in. He thinks he's in the travel lane when he's really on the shoulder. Well, also on the shoulder is the marked Washington State Patrol Police SUV. What's he doing there? Well, who knows? I mean, maybe he already pulled somebody over and was just finishing up writing his paperwork before he pulls out, and he had turned his lights off. Maybe he was just sitting there looking for speeders, so you don't want your lights running when you're trying to catch somebody like Santana here. So he's sitting there with his lights off. Well, just as he is about to run up on him, I guess he hits the brake like half a second before he just smashes into the rear of old Trooper Gadd here at 100 miles an hour. Boom! Gadd killed instantly. And Benetiz Santana then ends up over here. He's basically unhurt, of course. Benetiz Santana, I believe, had a blood alcohol level. I'm not sure what it was. The information I saw was a little sketchy on that. He admitted to drinking beer. He admitted to smoking marijuana. Clearly, the guy's impaired just by his nature of his actions. So what do we, and he's illegal, of course. Now, where did I get this information from? I want to put that name out there. Ari Hoffman. He's apparently a citizen journalist in the Seattle area. Hat tip to him, doing the work that the media won't do. He got information from the Washington State Police as to the accident report and what have you. Public information, again, doing the work that the media won't do. And this just happened. Like I said, this happened March 2nd of 2024. I'm not sure, somewhere around that date is when Laken Riley was slaughtered by an illegal. So what, yeah, I know you don't know anything about this. I didn't know anything about this. There was like just a perfunctory couple paragraph story on Fox, the New York Post, mostly about trooper killed. Then in very small print, if you're lucky, in Fox or the Post, you would find out that this guy is an illegal. Any leftist, CNN, I'm pretty sure, probably didn't even mention the fact that this guy was illegal. Why do we have to put up with this? This is what is so goddamn frustrating. It's like this trooper was murdered. 100 miles an hour this guy's going. Now again, we're back to that. How do I know that? Well, one, the nature of the dash cam, where the guy is going 70 miles an hour and he passes him at a high rate of speed. So there you're probably thinking, well, that guy was probably going 90 to 100. And in the notes of the people that investigated the accident, the speedometer was pegged at over 100 miles an hour when they peeled Benetiz Santana out of his vehicle. His speedometer was pegged at over 100 miles an hour. The RPM was pegged at over 3,500. So, yeah, I think it's pretty reasonable to say that this jerk-off was going over 100 miles an hour. Apparently, the damage to Gadd's vehicle was so severe that Gadd was killed instantly, and it was so severe this guy couldn't even post it. He was just mortified by the description in the accident report as far as the nature of Gadd's injuries that he just redacted it. He didn't even tell you. He's like, look, it's so bad, you don't even want to know. And I can only imagine. I mean, you get hit from behind by a heavy, I believe Santana was also driving an SUV. So even though this guy's got a pretty big vehicle, it doesn't matter. When you're another big SUV going 100 miles an hour crashes into the back of you, it's over. You're slaughtered. You're dead. He was butchered by this illegal. Why do we keep putting up with this? Where is this story? Why is this not front page news? Where is the Washington State Patrol on this? You think they would be shouting from the heavens, one of our people just got killed by somebody that should have never been here, that the federal government just allowed into this country. This guy's been here for 10 years. He got here in 2013. He's had numerous run-ins with the law. According to the Officer Down Memorial page, which tracks dead policemen who die on duty. Hell, they track almost any dead policeman, whether they die of a heart attack, what have you. According to that page, this guy's been stopped going upwards of 49 miles an hour over the speed limit previously. He's been arrested at least twice for driving with a suspended license. Domestic violence, he's been arrested. He's been arrested at least 3 times. At no point has anyone thrown him out of the country. How is that possible? Why is that? Why? Explain that to me, Joe Biden. Explain that to me. Is this one of the people that built this country? This motherfucker, Raul Benetiz Santana? Is this one of the motherfuckers that built this country? I don't think it is. Why are we putting up with this? Now, I know this is an anecdotal thing, just like Laken Riley. She could have been killed by an American. She wasn't. Christopher Gadd could have died in a traffic accident where the driver of the other vehicle was an American. He wasn't. It was an illegal. An illegal. Let's say it for what it is. Let's retake our language. That's part of their strategy to steal the country from us, take the language, control what you say. Once they control what you say, they start to control what you think. Then they've won. And illegal, what does that mean? It means he has no legal right to be here, for Christ's sakes. I don't understand why these stories, well, I do, but you know, that's part of the frustrating thing. We have to rely on heroes like Ari Hoffman to report this for us instead of our media, because they want to cover this up. They don't want you knowing about the bad of illegal immigration, or for that matter, just immigration and period. If we could all sit down like adults, I think we could probably have a pretty good discussion on the pluses and minuses of immigration, illegal or otherwise. But the left, they will never do that. They don't bargain honestly. They are not honest people. So they'll just lie to you. They want to have it both ways, honestly. They want you to tell you that the border's secure. Obviously it's not. They don't want it secure. They want to tell you that, the border is secure. But even if it wasn't, that's a good thing. Illegal immigration is a good thing. It's like, that's what they believe. I think all of us, at least in my audience, probably would say, no, illegal immigration is not a good thing. It's not. And what's our basis for that? Well, I think we've all had probably an experience at one point or another where we were standing, say, in a grocery store or something, and there's a guy ahead of us in line, and he doesn't speak English. And he's pulling out his WIC card or his welfare card or whatever, and you're just sitting there thinking to yourself, who is this guy? You know, where'd he come from? I know my episode with this happened in South Carolina, probably a state that's about 1,000 miles from any border with a foreign nation. And here's a guy there that does not speak English. He's got a welfare card, and all I could think of is, where did this guy come from? You know, how did he didn't just walk across the border. It took some effort to drop this guy here in South Carolina, and clearly the guy is not a millionaire. He's sponging off the system. He has a welfare card that I'm paying for. And yes, that pisses me off. It absolutely pisses me off. Now that guy, I mean, at least he probably didn't kill anyone like this son of a bitch. And clearly this is a guy that just doesn't care. And I think there's a lot of illegals just like this guy, because they just don't care. They know that they're untouchable. They got in here, they broke a law, nothing happened to them. He drives without a license. He gets arrested, nothing happens to him. He gets, drives, does whatever he wants, drives as fast as he wants. He gets caught, nothing happens to him. The guy's untouchable. That's his mindset. I can do anything. You know, I can do anything. I mean, only an only an evil asshole gets smashed smoking weed, drinking beer, and drives over 100 miles an hour. You're an evil bastard if you're doing that. You're an asshole, a complete motherfucking asshole. Now, who knows what's going to happen to this guy, because part of the non-story here is that this happened in the state of Washington, a state that was captured by the communists years ago. So this is behind enemy lines. They probably just don't care. I mean, it's like I said, where's the Washington State Patrol on this? You know, I would be yelling from the rooftops if I was the commander of the patrol saying, we just had one of our brothers slaughtered by an illegal, somebody that we've arrested again and again, and nobody did anything about it. Now one of our brothers is dead, 27 years old. What are we going to do about that? Well, we're obviously going to do nothing. We're just going to bury the next person that it happens to. See, that's where the difference is between normal people and the Democrat Party. They think illegal immigration is a plus. I think it's pretty obvious it's not. And again, this is anecdotal. I don't have any statistics to show you that there are more crimes committed by illegals than there are by non-illegals. One of the reasons why we don't have those statistics is because the government hides that kind of information. They cover it up. I mean, you read news stories about crimes that are committed, and you have to guess whether or not the individual that committed the crime belongs here or not. The news media just says, well, he was from Brazil. From Brazil? What does that mean? Does that mean he's just here visiting, or he's been here for 9 years and really doesn't belong here? Very, very rarely will any kind of minor crime committed by somebody, will the perpetrator be identified as either undocumented or, God forbid, never illegal. The best you might get out of the media on that is maybe undocumented. You are the one that has to read between the lines and try to figure out, oh yeah, that's one of those. That's one of those guys that just really doesn't belong here. But no one wants to talk about it, particularly in the communist media. So this is a story just happened. You don't know anything about it. Put this guy right up there with Laken Riley, slaughtered by people that the Democrat Party celebrate. Vote for Donald Trump. Let's bring some sanity back to this country, for Christ's sakes. I mean, if you're pissed off about this, then do something about it. Vote for Donald Trump. That's all I got to say about that. Maybe I'll talk about immigration and the pluses and the minuses of it on another day when I'm less angry. But this should not happen. This should not happen. But it did. But it did. I'm Eric Arnold. I believe in free speech.